Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero of Reich, Defender of the Faith, off here to a 1 vs 1 on Semoisky. Between the North Guard here, Saynotostim fighting for the Wehrmacht, America Freedom. I believe a top 100 USF player. Also, veteran companies, one player who had, I believe, several strategies beneath his belt there. So, I don't know, I've seen him recently in companies too, but he's clearly a man to be feared here, fighting for the 3rd Armored Division with heavy cavalry versus the South. We got Siegmund. Anyone saying otherwise is a dirty, filthy mind, and should take up self-flagellation as a means of purging said mind of filth. Fighting here, though, for the Wehrmacht, also around top 100. Fighting for Germany, Deutschland, taking on the role here of the 2nd Panzer Division. Also, a big thanks to Walter for updating his pledge on Patreon and supporting the Propagandacast. And a big thanks to Sleepy Sir for beginning to pledge as well on Patreon. Big thanks to both of you, and of course everybody else who has pledged in the past as well. You're all wonderful people. And of course, another little bit there, I've actually put up a small review of a book I recently read through. For those sort of everybody to view, actually, though, in future old book reviews. And until we hit the dollar goal, we sort of really can buy new books, though probably old books I got in my collection. But, you know, probably people will still be interested in those. But we're going up there only for Patreons. But still, have a taste of that one about armoured warfare on the Eastern Front, 1941 to 42. Can be found there. Links are in the video description. But on to the fight here between the 2nd Panzer Division and the 3rd Armoured Division. Double rifle start here for Saynotostim with the 3rd rifle on the way there. Siegmund going for double grenadiers. MD42s rushing for the centre of the map. They're always something I'm a bit apprehensive about as the Wehrmacht, because I mean it means you usually lose sight of, you know, the resources, and you first lose sight of the resources, you lose sight of victory in many cases. 3rd rifle squad, they're almost done. We'll have to see he's pushing straight for the opponent's viewpoint. That is actually pretty interesting. I mean, most players, you know, just fall into the centre as well here, but Saynotostim clearly displaying, you know, his veteran company's one skills and tactics, you know, move straight toward the fuel. Who cares about the centre if you can deny those dirty Germans their fuel? Sandbags all going down, and he's very quick to utilise the full capabilities of heavy cavalry right off the bat. Very nice to see there, and he's in fact digging down around his opponent's fuel point as well there. Saynotostim on the ball there against his opponent. Very nice start to see there, with the 3rd one of this one on the way there for Siegmund. Riflemen are going to do, see, that's definitely a loose engagement then to get out to house, because up close the riflemen do twice as much damage as the riflemen. 2nd escort moving in there. Will they also occupy the house, or what will they do here? MD42 as well here for Siegmund. It decides to occupy the corner house. In the meanwhile, though, Saynotostim further running. He might want to try and flank about, but he goes straight for the house, which is not so well suited for infantry, because there's only really one window they can fire with. So, I mean, yeah. Meanwhile, Grenadiers flanking about here, cutting about, in fact threatening the retreat path of Saynotostim. Siegmund there displaying a sharp warrior's mind. As he then sort of shift about, but at the same time he has lost his own fuel point here to Saynotostim, who could be theoretically digging in them, and set moves up support up here. So already in the first few moments of the fight, we're seeing some aggressive, intense action here on Semoisky, and again, just not the usual pattern, which always is a lot more exciting. And again, it's all, I think, Saynotostim, again, displaying that heightened mind, with more grenadiers on there for Siegmund. Rather than able to soon be forced away, those got pioneers going to flank in here. He's falling a bit back. He's hoping to draw in his German opponent there, though, of course, at the same time, he needs to be a bit careful. He can't delay the retreat of the riflemen for too much longer, because, I mean, nonetheless, there are a bunch of Germans with guns watching the retreat path, and there you go. 2nd squad retreating. You might try and time the retreat here so like they both sort of have a chance of drawing in fire there. Otherwise, I have no idea what Saynotostim is trying to do there. Anyway, it's going to rifleman down there, getting caught up at the pioneers. Up close, nice ambush position there by Siegmund, allowing the guys to do some damage there. Rifle squad retreating. Bunker going out in the carve point. He's going to have to retreat soon, I mean. And there we go, wiped. If he maybe bunched up, then maybe not. All the way though, Siegmund there, definitely going for something you usually rarely see. Again, just cutting off his opponent's carve point like this, very heavily with a machine gun bunker. That is definitely the mind of a fiend at work here. So Saynotostim there suffering quite a grueling loss, because, I mean, he rather didn't anticipate this, and to be honest, this is a very unusual Wehrmacht move. I mean, most Wehrmacht players will just consider themselves about here. They won't enact to try and, you know, to this extent hurt their opponent's retreat point. But then again, I mean, you rarely just see this. Meanwhile, Saynotostim going for lieutenant. He's got quite a bit of manpower floating about, but obviously again he's going to have to go for more infantry, and heavy weapons there versus Siegmund, who is taking up himself. But still, Saynotostim is very much committed here to deny his opponent all of this fuel, but he's certainly in a tricky position. He's going for the M20 here. Could be an idea, otherwise I would also suggest a mortar, in which case you can try and time the retreat of the rifleman with a smoke screen around here. That way allowing troops to safely pass their parsley. What? This isn't a cooking show. Cooking with the master of propaganda. First up, gather some parsley. Come on. Grenadiers pushing up there for the fuel pond there. Siegmund trying to turn the tables there on Saynotostim. He's hatting off that, so it's Saynotostim. Fuel harassment. Got the M20 out there for Saynotostim. Rather than, oh dear, that could be another wipe here. Yep, another wipe there for Saynotostim again. Initially, good aggressive strategy, but again, Siegmund just adapted to it in such a vicious manner that Saynotostim has lost 2 rifle squads. I mean, he still got most of the map, and obviously, again, getting that much aggressive map control there usually comes at a price. But 2 rifle squads is exhausting price, actually. We'll have to see, though. He's floating a bit of manpower, which is not really what I recommend. I'd probably suggest just, pushing out as many troops to replace the losses, maybe a machine gun to that way further pressure Siegmund. We'll have to see how this goes out. He also needs to get rid of this machine gun bunker. But still, that is bloody amazing. Still one of the more interesting just openings on Semoisky I've seen in ages. Pioneer sneaking in there. Got the lieutenant on the move there with BARs and Thompsons. Alright, gentlemen, I want every Nazi I see dead. And I mean everyone. There go flanking behind the Pioneers. 50 cal on the way there for Saynotostim rather than reinforcing. He still got their manpower floating. And rifle grenade here from an unexpected position. Oh, almost got the lieutenant fully wiped. Oh, he retreats the Pioneers just before it can happen. Might have been a bit too quick there on the trigger by Siegmund. Following up there with a 2-2-2. Repaired, grabbing the northern fuel point back there for America, freedom and democracy. Rearsen's forced retreat there, right past the bunker. Mortar on the way there for Saynotostim and the 3rd Armoured. And we got here an armoured car to scout ahead and harass for the 2nd Panzer Division. Got the 5th car moving out there for Saynotostim up here. Rearsen's there being harassed by the machine gun as they run past. M20 engaged with the 2 Grenadiers. That's going to be a bit tricky if you can sort of draw it into the line of fire. The 5th car, but those you have a chance here. Mortar following up there for Saynotostim. And there you go. He's going to try and bed it in there. Armor piercing rounds that needs to be popped as soon as possible. Too slow there, too slow. Missed, I think, out some tune to do some extra heavy damage to the 2-2. Then again, he felt like he doesn't want to spend the munitions on it. Or just forgot about the ability plainly. And that's a possibility there. Mortar fire there, they're raining down now on the machine gun bunker. 2-2 falling back as Rifle occupy the house. They're threatening Siegmund's forces with an MD-40 millions of block as well. Siegmund there displaying again what is important when it comes to the Wehrmacht. Good, fluid movement of the MD-42. Doesn't just stick it in one place. It reacts as a permanent movement to sort of that way block them off or flank them or support his attack. So this is some very good machine gun movement there by Siegmund. Thumbs up from the propaganda ministry. I mean, I actually haven't really seen this fellow before, but he's clearly displaying himself to be an agile and flexible mind. Which again is, something worth respecting and also worth learning from. Which is always why I enjoy fights like these, because not only getting something exciting, because again things just aren't, the usual same rote stuff, because these guys play the map differently, which again means there's a slight, more going on. And you can also just learn from it, again, just see, what happens there. I mean, overall, again, there's just so much more going on there. Just amazing stuff. We got Rangers out here for Saynotostim, not replacing Rifle, instead just going for even more hardened chaps with Thompsons. Bit of sneaking about here. Siegmund is slightly losing ground. I mean, overall, with the loss of the bunker, the half of the map is completely open here to Saynotostim and can easily be seized. Like to make a nice company up. Well, is obviously up. No bunkers beyond the machine gun bunker there for Siegmund and the 2nd Panzer Division. We got Grenadiers here spearheading a counter-attack. We got the Rearsen's there being bombarded by the 2-2-2. If you have the munitions up, maybe suggest some mines here and there. This could be pretty good there for Saynotostim. mobilize and deal with any vehicles. So you know, for example, saw the Regal mines doing there in Fortune's fight versus Jam and Rock. Any mines that can immobilize a tank is incredibly powerful, and this one can basically do it while doing more damage than the Regal mine. So I mean, that is certainly something to consider if you're an American player. Got the M20 out, you mean just laying down a few M20 mines here and there could, you know, have quite the thunderous impact on your opponent. We got a Pack 40 following up there though for Siegmund and the 2nd Panzer Division. Saynotostim giving slightly way there on the left side. Not going to try and push too hard here against Siegmund and perhaps waste precious manpower. Old machine gun there, cornerback position there. Should have scouted ahead here. Siegmund with an on-way move, punished here by the lieutenant. Not too heavily though. Also got the M20 rushing in there with its own 50 caliber doing some damage. More support on the front line. Rangers securing the eastern side. Going for a captain though is an interesting choice there by Saynotostim. I'm assuming it's because he's worried his opponent's going to rush ahead of him in terms of armor, or is he planning for the Pershing? That's definitely a, I would say, slightly weaker strategic move. He's planning to just go straight for the Pershing from there on. We'll have to see though what Saynotostim does. But if he's really intending that, he needs to hit his opponent's fuel a lot more repeatedly. And should definitely lay down some mines with the M20, because at that point it's going to be really necessary to be able to slow down any armoured movements from Siegmund and basically mobilise them, making them easy targets for anti-tank guns and any bazookas Saynotostim might end up with. But there you go, good harassment there for Siegmund, trying to avoid any sort of, you know, hard points from Saynotostim and just go straight for the fuel point. Very sharp there. Totally falling back, Lieutenant Morton in a bit of a precarious position right after moving up. And he's shifting ahead there. Mortar pushed back. Saynotostim to its position. He's actually popping out the crew there to deal with the 222. Needs to be a bit careful about that. An immediate counterattack there to the loss of the fuel point up north. We got, rather than flanking behind the Grenadiers, a good move. Also spawn the Pack 40. Then we got the MD-40 with the church. Without the mortar, immediately deal with that. It's going to be a bit tricky there for Saynotostim in the south. Rangers getting pumped here with rifle grenades and light machine guns. Caught off guard here by Siegmund's Grenadier Force. Rather than suppressed by the MD-42, nice position in the church. Meanwhile though, Saynotostim, realising his reason can't do anything there, just continues to use territorial swabs. You've got the captain on the way, and he's going for a Stuart light tank, so he's going for more light vehicles to help him try and pressure Siegmund. Interesting choice there by Saynotostim. I mean, this is sort of something that, you know, more at home with, you know, an armoured company play, but he's gone for heavy cavalry, so it's definitely unusual. It's definitely unusual. Captain is spotted by the MD-42. A bit unfortunate there for Saynotostim in the 3rd Armoured up north. Siegmund and the 2nd Panzer Division continues its harassment there of his rear lines, further working to deny Saynotostim a lot of fuel. Very good work there. Overall, Siegmund is displaying again a very sharp, incisive mind, constantly looking for weak spots and hitting them. Certainly a bit of a stormtrooper there. Rifles, Rangers moving out. Got the Stuart light tank here to provide further support for Saynotostim's infantry, and of course deal with light vehicles a bit further. Oh dear, almost lost the M20 crew there to the Grenadiers appearing. Siegmund there is definitely a very aggressive player, and there goes Stuart moving down there. North Rifles and Rangers successfully push back the Grenadiers. Grenadiers on the south, almost wiped out here with the Stuart. Oh, Siegmund got lucky there in the face of Saynotostim's Stuart light tank, which as a fun fact was really cramped due to the internal layout, which includes, I think it has like the crankshaft, gear drive, something like basically just going straight through the middle of the tank, meaning it was a very cramped thing there inside for the Stuart crew. Which was normally a bit rare for American tanks. They were actually only sort of a bit spacious. Cramped in quarters was sort of more of a Soviet thing. In fact, so tank crews, I think, had to be rather small. To an extent, sort of a bit decent, and even then it was cramped. Got the Stuart setting up. They're going to catch the 222 here, supported by the M20, a small cavalry group there from Saynotostim, striking at the Krauts. Stay on target, Joe. Get that Kraut. And there you go, Pack 40 shifts about to deal with it. Oh, 222 might move a bit too fast here, but at the same time, it could activate for the Stuart. Incendiary armor piston rounds there. Good hits on the Stuart light tank, and almost got the 222 there. Very close there for Saynotostim. Resecure on the corner. He needs to advance a bit further. Ambulance also up there for Saynotostim. Bit late there. here. Points being secured. We got a fuel cache here for Siegmund. Also not no support. In fact, he's going straight for tier 4, in which case the fuel cache makes sense. He's actually rushing for tier 4 here. Despite having been heavily harassed, Siegmund believes he can do it. That's kind of impressive. But that he's going for a fuel cache there clearly indicates he's got the right of it. I mean, if you're going to rush for tier 4, you're going to need fuel caches, so he's got the right of it there. He's got the right of it there. Thumbs up to Siegmund. I mean, it's still going to take some time to get out of the Panther, for example, but with a fuel cache out, it's not going to be, you know, too heavy a delay there against Saynotostim. We're certainly not got any fuel caches, particularly if he's playing for the Pershing. He's going to be quite delayed in that department. He's going to be quite delayed in comparison to Siegmund there, who's going to be able to get a Panther reasonably soon, and that way put some serious pressure there on any sort of armoured dreams for Saynotostim, who's also flooding a bit of manpower there. Caches would be a good choice. More support weapons like another mortar, 50 caliber. Pack cards could also be an idea there. I mean, there's certainly choices there for Saynotostim here. Could also just go for more rangers. Put more infantry pressure on Siegmund. Certainly a lot going on there. But he's certainly, you know, again, displaying, you know, good control of the map there. Again, he's just not getting caught up in one point too much, and he's not just trying to rush to send a mindless. He'll get caught up in this here. Small corridor. He's actually using the west side of the map there. So, I mean, he's definitely displaying a good tactical sort of understanding of the map. It's just strategically there. Certainly, there's a few unfortunate elements there for Saynotostim. We'll have to see how he pulls through, but I feel like he needs to use his manpower more efficiently than does Siegmund, and again, a few caches there could do a lot for Saynotostim. Could do a lot there. Up here, though, healing reinforcement going on. Troops preparing for the next big push. Rangers, Rifle, or Lieutenant Rifle moving out. The Rangers are moving backwards, and there you go. We've got double support weapons there. We've got a pack howitzer and an anti-tank gun there for Saynotostim. Upping up on the artillery versus Siegmund, and of course adding in some anti-tank weapons, because it certainly is increasingly seeming like he's just playing straight for the person, in which case getting more anti-tank guns is well, getting some in the first place is definitely the right choice. He's going to lose the M20. We also got grenades over here for him. Oh! Almost got the MG42. Really close there, really close. Oh, he did wipe it there, actually. Did wipe it, but the question is here, can he secure it? I mean, he could throw down a smoke grenade on and then rush it. A lot of light machine guns carrying the center of the map here. Pack house almost done. Lieutenant pushing forwards. He could have tried moving his 50 caliber from the north, which actually catches the opponent off guard that way. There you go. He steals the MG42 where he... Oh, this is going to be a bit close there. A lot of damage being focused by the Pioneers, the 222 and the light machine guns. But in this case, Saynotostim does make off there with the MG42 there from Siegmund and the 2nd Panzer Division. Bit of a hole there for Saynotostim. Certainly more firepower, and it certainly also makes it harder for Siegmund to contain the Saynotostim's infantry. But there you go. We got the Panther on the way there for Siegmund. The Panzer Kampfwagen 5. Panther Panzer. Pride of the Vaterland. I could go on. So we got the pack cards here. Moving out. Mortar wipe by Siegmund. So they're being flanked with a 222, but that's not going to have much of an impact. Mortar fired 222. Oh, it might have been a pack card there, actually doing some damage there. Now he's getting too awfully concerted here. Again, he might want to put a bit more pressure up here, but oh well. Going to use retreating, falling back. Siegmund in this case realising he can't actually hold the line in the wake of a fresh assault there, so he's going to pull back for healing reinforcement into his base. Very good move there. Also got mechanised for Siegmund, possibly to synergise with the spotting scopes there with Panther to make better use of its range. Of course, smoke bombs could also be quite handy. Howitzers, command tanks. Saynotostim definitely wants to hit his opponent fuel point, maybe try and spot the cache and destroy it. Continued pressure into the centre there as Saynotostim floods it with freedom, democracy, American dreams. Stuff being bunched up a bit too much. They're not quite even supporting, but there you go. We got the Panther out here. Pinned by machine on the way there. Going straight into main line there, and there we go. Engaging the main gun and machine guns. Seeing the Rangers going over rifle and moving up from there to tank rifle 8, but that's not really going to have a serious impact on the Panther. Instead, it just makes for easy kills. That's, I think, not a good move there by Saynotostim. Bit waste of munitions, to be honest, and manpower. Following up with the 2nd anti-tank. He probably wasn't expecting a Panther. I mean, I am seeing an increase in Wehrmacht players actually going for the Panthers, but generally you don't actually see the Wehrmacht player rushing for it though, so... That's definitely a bit of a surprise from that. Church collapses under repeated American fire, like a tiny Monte Casino. The tank and they're creeping hit, Panther falling back, those Stuart flanking in. They can't do anything serious, but could perhaps cause Siegmund to be a bit more cautious. He's been floating a lot of manpower, though, should do something about that. Second entertainer around to Saynotostim as he moves up to entertainment into the centre. Bit of movement here east, though. He's definitely trying to secure more territory around this, and again trying to deny Siegmund more fuel. Brian, he risked, Sturmpanzers, Panzerwerfers, or for that matter, Second Panther, which could definitely put some serious pressure there on Saynotostim and the 3rd Armoured. Ralph getting lost to the captain, to moving up, taking fight, but not quite getting hit. Victory point being secured. Certainly some intense fighting here around the centre of the map now. Pack Carter fires, misses. Panther being repaired. Machine gun coming in the centre. Alongside the mortar, anti-tank gun, pack howitzer. Getting reinforcement, saying they're good to go. And fixing up the Stuart there behind a nice set of trees. And Siegmund there going for the Panzerwerfer. Pretty much unique only to a Panzer Division's artillery unit. I don't believe any other units actually received Panzerwerfers in any way. Though there were a few variants of it. There was also one of the Schwerer Wehrmachtschlepper. That's a fun route there. We got Rangers pushing forwards there, but there's too many Germans with too many guns. Causing Saynotostim perhaps not being quite so keen as charging forwards. 50 caliber on its own there, there's the Panther. We can see there Saynotostim quickly pulls it back. That means his left flank is losing strength, which wasn't really much. We are seeing finding mines here from Saynotostim. He's actually got a lot of munitions. A bit surprised he hasn't tried to mine more than against Siegmund, but I guess he's been a bit too under much pressure. And there you go, got the Panzerwerfer out. Fun fact, the Waffen-SS though had their own variant of it, which actually used Katyusha rockets. Like they stole some or grabbed some, and later on would actually make their own copies of it. It was called the Vielfachwerfer or something like that. But that was basically sort of a variant they ran of their own. So that's a little extra detail there. And I believe actually some were used on the Western Front against the Americans. Mines going down there, very good. Anti-tank setting up there. Rifleman spotted. Panther going to take direct hits. There you go. Penetrating hit actually. Panzerwerfer there again. Saynotostim support position. Mortar crew annihilated in a cloud of high explosives. Machine gun pinned down. Pack Carter firing back in response. Panther there pushed back half health. Some rather lucky rolls there from Saynotostim's anti-tank guns on the Panthers. It should have roughly a 50-50% chance of bouncing them. Which is sort of like the Panther sort of big thing. It can, have a reasonably good chance of bouncing most things. Smoke screen down here on Saynotostim's frontline positions. Allowing is going to distribute position. Interesting move there. Map now switching from sort of more of a... That crossing is more this way. Interesting shift there. Almost got the fuel point in the south. More mines going down there. So what will Saynotostim do now? How will he try and change this? I mean, he's obviously trying to buy time here for the Pershing. Panzer going to do there, arriving for Siegmund. Very good. That'll certainly provide a bit more offensive firepower. Panther being repaired up again. Mortar engaged. I'm not entirely sure he's bombarding with his pack out. It seems like he's just blind firing, which is honestly a bit of a waste there. Stuart heading northwards to recapture the fuel point there, but that infantry support's going to be risky. Pack 40 falling back as well. And in the south, we got a lone grenadier squad moving for the southern fuel point. The rifleman from the north can move in to support immediately. Panther rushing northwards here is going to catch that Stuart. This is going to look a problematic there for Saynotostim. But we are seeing some support there. I don't think he was expecting the Panther to immediately rush up here. I mean, again, he could easily mine this much sooner. Again, made it harder there, in which case the Panther would be caught by that. MD-42 setting up. Clearly on an attack move to assist us, so we didn't have to micromanagement before stuff happens, in case something does happen. But I don't think again he was anticipating a Panther to happen. Like that was the big surprise here for Saynotostim against Siegmund, who's going for a command chain there, the Feds Panzerwagen. Found infantry support, but also just support his Panther, but making it a bit hard to destroy it as well. That way. Panzer Grenadier there flanking through the southern cemetery, getting behind the lieutenant here, but he's taking a lot of damage up close. And he's going to have to retreat before they get wiped. Might still lose them. Very lucky there by Siegmund, very lucky. Command tank heading for the southern field point. More Rangers arriving there to replace the ones lost in a previous engagement. Still good to go. Taking fire from the bazooka team. The heavy cover is actually going to make it difficult for the command tank to deal with the infantry there, which is going to attack head on, allowing them to get a few more hits. Staying off there, no mines to cover this approach. Anti-tank and shifting about, Raffen hanging about as well. He seems to have forgotten there's actually an anti-tank gun there on the small island. There go meeting hits with an anti-tank gun, and he's rushing forwards. Is he going to lay down the smoke screen first? No. No, he's going to try and rush it. Unsurprising that it didn't work out with that much health left without a smoke screen. It's either that or some kind of misclick or pathing error, I don't know. By the way, that command tank did not ultimately do much there for Siegmund, ended up being a waste of resources. Quite a waste there for Siegmund. And the second Panzer Division still floating manpower consistently. Troops being forced to sink, suppressed there. Rangers counter-attacking. Pioneers up north here run into a lot of trouble. A lot of troops being suppressed overall. No smoke screens either here from the smoke bombs. Could have been quite useful, to rush in the centre victory point, avoiding getting murdered. Pioneers wiped. Siegmund here seeming honest of making a lot of mistakes there. Could be there something distracting him, in real life. Though what it could be, who knows. While they stood there versus Panthers, shots fired. Grenadiers defending the northern field point. Infantry for the southern one. Panzer Grenadier good to go there. Saynotostim getting very close as Pershing, but it's only been quite delayed there. Quite delayed. And so the argument could be even better off just being able to get Sherman sooner, or Jackson's or whatever. Contact towards the southern field point there. Panther just shooting a bit away there. 3 kills, veteran G1. Telemines from Siegmund, they're good. So good. When with the Panther bat, that's also where the M20 mines could have been absolutely amazing. I mean, that would just render the Panther into a very big fat target for Saynotostim, which probably killed it on the spot more or less. Once the anti-tank guns began owning in on it. It's a bit of a shame that he never got around to this. He's also floating quite a bit of munitions. Could also try combined arms. It's a very good ability. He's got the streets that way trigger it. Could also have some effects in there versus Siegmund and gain some local superiority. The Panzer for this seems to have been forgotten, and he's also going for a howitzer. Bit of a waste of the Panzer for not doing anything with it. Could probably have more impact against Saynotostim at times. And now the Panther's trying to crush the Rangers. Six kills on the Panther, 9 to tank and shooting. Shots bouncing off this time around. No penetrating hits, only 80mm of sloped frontal armour. More Pioneers up with the pairs, good. Howitzer apparently not quite finished there. Might have been a misclick or something there. We'll probably realise his Pioneers were too low on health and want to get them full up, because Pioneers that are below strength build a lot slower. They also repair slower, but build a lot slower. Rather moving southwards, going to hide behind some bushes down there to defend the fuel point. And Saynotostim run straight into it. Actually laying down mines there, but a few quick salvos left Joe dead in the dirt. There you go. Panther fires again here at the anticipated positions of Saynotostim, demolishing the machine gun crew and an anti-tank gun crew. Very good value for that barrage. And certainly he's going to force Saynotostim to get more active here, a bit more aggressive, because otherwise he's going to be finding himself a very large target for Siegmund's increasing amount of artillery. Panther moving ahead here, taking advantage of the destruction of the anti-tank gun, destruction of the crew to destroy the anti-tank gun. As Saynotostim is getting close to the Pershing, but so far no good match from him. The Pershing play definitely feels like a very weak link there, and the weakest move by him. And certainly allows Siegmund here to really get into the match with that Panther and all that artillery. Almost got on there, but go. Panther crashes more, and there you go. Almost 30 minutes of the game, you can finally get the Pershing up. That's like 10 minutes later after the Panther. There's certainly a bit of difference. They were trying to rely on calling units like heavy tanks and, you know, just taking up then for the biggest tank you can get as the Wehrmacht, in which case it's the Panther. Had he gotten a Sherman out there, I think things would have been a bit harder here for Siegmund. But oh well. Not sure what's firing there. Perhaps he was anticipating mines. I mean, this is usually mine spot. His opponent has mine. He knows his mind. You know, maybe. Otherwise, maybe a misclick. Weird. Moving northwards, lieutenant, supported by a very high-ranking mortar here with 3 captains on it. Grenadiers white as the rifle grenade. In the south, you got the Stuart here supporting the rifle squad, pushing where the Grenadiers there. And that's going to be another wipe here against Siegmund. All of a sudden, things are turning very aggressively against him. He's bleeding out infantry. Could open up here for an opening still for Saynotostim to turn this around. Plus, of course, got the Pershing, which has been dinged up a bit there against the Panther. The Panther getting close to Veteran 2 and the Schutzen, with the Befehls Panzerwagen number 2 on the way there for Siegmund and the 2nd Panzer. So another Howard Panzer barrage here against the... Oh dear! They're on the mine, and the anti-tank gun crew gets wiped. Howitzer collapses, machine gun annihilated. Bad news here, Captain flanking the Panther. Looking a bit rough there for Saynotostim. As Siegmund lays in with all he's got. And, I mean, he's got a lot more fuel though. I mean, again, he could easily, you know, take up for, you know, Sherman actually got out the Pershing probably even faster because he'd been racking up command points faster. But now he's on the situation again. He's finally got the Panther, but he's still got a lot of fuel. But he can't do much except spam Stuarts, which I suppose he could do. He's also got a lot of ammunition, more mines, and just maybe use some combined arms here. And they're just trying to get the most out of it. I mean, it can be a really good ability at times. You can boost range on tanks, rate of fire on both infantry and tanks. I mean, he can really just, you know, make them a lot more lethal. Up north, in mortar spot being dealt with here by Siegmund's command tank. Rangers finding this for the centre of the map here, with little support anti-tank when recruited here by vehicle crew. Pershing moving ahead in support as well, with its 90mm gun, and engages the Panther here. Shot bounces off the Panther. There you go. Power to fire again here at this small spot. There were a lot of units have to cross through. There you go. There, machine gun taking direct hit here from the howitzer. Rangers in trouble there. Forced out of the centre. Siegmund is certainly in a strong position here with the Panther, artillery, and other elements. Pack howitzer responding back, but it's not quite the same as an actual howitzer. And there you go, commanding machine to the Pershing, direct hit. He could actually try and use his HVAP round here for just increased damage. It seems like he's not keen on that. Anti-tank landing, good hit. Come on, HVAP round, Saynotostim, HVAP round. Almost got the command tank, but not quite here. Armor piercing rounds do good in the anti-tank as well. Command tank gets away. No armor piercing rounds either. Shame there for Saynotostim. Rather a shame there. And he could easily just take up and use the Captain Supervised to speed up the production, and then rush out, say, a tank destroyer just to show him, just support his Pershing there, because that I think would do a lot there. In particular, we could then combine it with combined arms. And, you know, good use of HVAP rounds. Shoots, bounces. Panther's bouncing an awful lot of shots. You can remember in most cases the Panther has a roughly 50% chance of bouncing off shots there, which means you generally do not want to engage in front of the initial like got a really good sense of the art. And there you go. Pershing down, Italian into tank gun, Panther here, and engaging at max range will increase the Panther's, you know, overall efficiency there, gaining victory 2. Several shots then proceed to go through, but at this point the Pershing was already dead. That was not a good assault. Again, could have used combined arms to maybe increase his chance of pulling off something. So definitely could consider working a bit on his ability uses there, Mr. Saynotostim. Could work a bit on that and, you know, improve the overall efficiency of his assault. He can actually soon go for another Pershing. Though again, had he tagged up, he wouldn't need a second Pershing. There you go, second Pershing. Now, of course, there's also the problem now with the Veteran 2 Panther, which is going to be harder for his tanks to clear out. The Zuger fire there in the command tank. Vehicle crew wiped by the command tank. So no loss there for Saynotostim. Second Pershing Rouse sneaking about here, flanking up, maneuvering, trying to cause havoc. But instead, he's getting absolutely pulverized here by Siegmund's armor. And there you go, kaput. An easy target there for the Panther crew. Artillery continues raining down, and his Panther has really been good, partly because again he's not just blind firing, he's actually looking for the best targets and then saturating them with the Panzerwerfer. So I mean, Siegmund there certainly shows how to use the Panzerwerfer to a good degree. Second Pershing out, flooding a lot of munitions. Though I mean, so is Siegmund as well. I mean, both players could stand to use the munitions more efficiently. They could definitely both stand to use the munitions a lot more efficiently. This definitely is not what I'd call rightfully recommendable. So it's starting to look like Saynotostim is in a very bad position. I mean, he's only at half pop cover there compared to Siegmund. Armor pool much smaller, infantry pool roughly the same, except Grenadiers, Panzer Grenadiers, quite veteran, and of course supported by a lot of armor and a lot of artillery. And that's also the problem where Siegmund has a big advantage. He's just got the artillery edge now. Saynotostim has lost his pack house, he's lost his mortar, he's got an anti-tank gun left. It's going to be pretty difficult for Saynotostim to pull through. And I think at this point sort of feels like he's giving up this rolling hit with a Pershing. Panther flying down here again. Catching the anti-tank gun. Spotting scopes here, of course, proving quite helpful in allowing him to target with artillery. Thusly, spotting scopes synergizes quite well with the Panzerwerfer. Panther moving ahead here. Panther taking a lot of fire. Oh, Pershing is as well. Panther hit the main gun out on the Pershing. Anti-tank gun destroyed. And the Panther moves in for the kill here on the Pershing, and there you go, kaput. Saynotostim surrenders. A loss here for the 3rd Armoured Division, destroyed here by an armoured Kampfgruppe of the 2nd Panzer Division, spearheaded here by an almost ace Panther crew. So I think a very interesting match, very intense at times, aggressive match. Saynotostim really had a good aggressive start, but was caught off guard by Siegmund actually reacting very fluidly, very sharply to it. And I would say rather novel way punishing it, Saynotostim quite excellently, causing Saynotostim to have a slightly weaker start despite gaining most of the map. He just lacked the infantry to really follow up on it. But I would say in some ways still make good use of it. The problem was for Saynotostim is some sort of map ready again. He didn't make use, I would say, fully of his munitions. Again, not enough mines, no weapon racks, not enough grenades or combined arms or smoke. There's a lot of things he could have done there in HVAC rounds, but also just the play there for the Pershing. I also felt really weak there. He should have taken up first, pushed ahead, maybe gone for some fuel caches, and then sort of gone in with the Pershing. Instead, he allowed Siegmund to more safely go for the Panther rush and pull it off, and that was also rather nicely done. Actually going for a fuel cache to support it, very well done there by Siegmund. Siegmund made some mistakes in there, but also he played very solidly, very thoroughly, very consistently. And again, also pretty sharply. They're making good use of machine guns. That way, gain several tactical advantages versus Saynotostim doing several engagements. So overall, I'd say a good match between two good players. It's just Saynotostim's strategy was a lot weaker. Plus, as the match progressed, again, he just failed to use his abilities efficiently. Siegmund, though, could also make use of some of his bets as the match progressed. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe to your friends. Share it with everyone. If not, send a new plan apart some feedback in the comments section. And if you like what I do consider donating or pledging on Patreon, as many others have done. And of course, a big thanks to all of those who already have done. Links in the video description. This is Imperial Lynching. Cheers. Thank you all for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow for another shining episode. Bye.